I do love photographing a crack. There's no cracks, it's covered in grass. Turns out it's because it's nesting season up till the end of August. They're not going to mate with the drones. And no, I'm not taking my clothes off and going for a fly. Well, good afternoon everyone. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've come down to check out a bit more of the East Coast. I've double, triple, quadruple checked, and I'm definitely here for the right time. But where am I going? I'm going to Snettisham Beach to find a jetty. And if the gods are with us, I'll show you the picture in the guidebook. We should be looking for the ruined old jetty and a load of cracks. I do love photographing a crack. This one's based looking out into the North Sea, but it is the only westerly section of the North Sea. Sorry, it's the only part of the North Sea that catches the westerly sun, so it's good for a sunset. I'm not here at a time where I'm going to get one. Unfortunately, the low tide is definitely at 5 o'clock, but this is the day I'm here, so that's what I get. Well, it is a bit windy today, as you can probably tell by the wind noise coming over on the mic, but I'm hoping that's an advantage. Because one, the subject I'm shooting, well, there's nothing on it that'll move. There's nothing around it that'll move. And two, hopefully it'll help dry out the mud flats. Yeah, no, my luck, I'll get there and it'll just be a bog fest. Still, I brought my wellies, we're all good. Well, I've been walking for about 20 minutes, and in vlogging minutes, that's 20 minutes, so that's probably about a quarter of an hour for everyone else. But I finally reached the mud flats. They're there. And I am seeing some cracking. It looks like it's drying out, and there's lots and lots of patterns in it. That looks quite wonderful. If you want to do some abstract stuff, a bit of black and white abstract would be fantastic. Now the good news is it's another hour until low tide, so hopefully that's going to dry out even more, and then obviously it's going to be a good hour before it starts coming back up to it. So yeah, that could be good timing, and I'm loving these clouds. I'm not worried about sunset at all. This could be a moody day. Hopefully it's not too windy for some long exposure, and we'll get some streaking in the clouds. And no, I'm not taking my clothes off and going for a fly. Right, okay, so we've come to the end of the harbour wall, and it does turn into an RSPB nature reserve. So as you can see, things are roped off there. So if you do follow me down here, please be respectful of that, and there is no drone flying here either. Obviously it's a bird sanctuary, so they don't want them mating with the drones, I assume. Turns out it's because it's nesting season up till the end of August. They're not going to mate with the drones. Right, so we've arrived. We've got a couple of problems. So, firstly, here's some advice for you. Don't come down in July. Don't come down in August. Come down post-August. Nesting bird season means that it is sectioned off, but they have put in some walkways down every, I don't know, 100 yards. So there is access to it. But obviously, you can't work any angles right or left of that. So yeah, that's the first thing. Secondly, there is a bird hide right by it. So be aware that there may be people in there taking some nature photography, some birders. Thirdly, there's no cracks. It's covered in grass. Grass. So, right, okay, so this is going to be, what am I going to do? Can't work too many angles. The cracks are all covered in grass. Right, I want one shot. I want one shot. So I want to try and come away with one shot that's at least half worthwhile. And then if I've got time, I'm going to go back down there and I'm going to do some photographs of the cracks and the streams that are running through them over by the harbour wall. Right, let's get on with it. Okay, so we're pretty limited now. We've got no cracks. It's covered in grass. So I think the dynamic shot with the cracks in it has obviously gone. Getting down low and underneath the arch, like you can see in that picture in the book, that's a no-no, because obviously I'll be wading out into the birdie territory and I don't want to be doing that. So I'm working with these main posts at the beginning. I'm thinking maybe really low or quite high, looking down on them. What I really need is the separation from this one with the cross member on the top. So this second post on the left, that's quite key. I need that separated from the ones that are behind the one with the cross member. And this first one on the left as well, I want to keep that separated from those first three posts. The rest I'm not going to be able to do anything about, really. They're going to be what they're going to be. But the key one is the two sticks, or planks, whatever they are, sticking up. Now, the reason they're key is, one, they've got to be placed in the frame correctly, obviously. But I think the wind is blowing in the same direction. So looking at it, yeah, it's kind of blowing that way. So if I can get movement in the cloud, then they're pointing in that direction as well. Right, let's start working some angles. Okay, so the first composition, we're looking down on it. Now there is actually, just past these grasses here on this left side, on the right hand side, there is quite a bit of cracking, but there's grasses growing up between it. So hopefully I can draw that detail out. I'm looking down on it. You can see these rivers, these little mini rivers, kind of working their way from left to right. And with the wind kind of bringing the sky that way, I think that's going to work. So leading from the right hand side bottom corner, over to the top left with two sticks pointing up, rivers running off to the right, sky coming in. I've tried it on a 30-second exposure, and because I've had to go so high, I don't know if it's going to work until I pull it back down. So if it has, you'll be seeing it about now. I've backed up a bit and zoomed in. It does take away a little bit of the sky from me, but I still get to see some of these rivers that are running through, and you still get the dynamic of the separated logs as best as I can, and then the two pointing upwards like that. So I'm going to try a 2-minute exposure. I've removed my center column. I've got 4-inch spikes that are dug into the sand, and it shouldn't move. So I've got no tide washing it away. We'll give that a go. See how that one turns out. Right, focus is set. Let's shield it with my body. Timer delay on. Stand like a statue for 2 minutes. Okay, so for this shot, we're going straight down the throat. We're low, we're in front of it, and we're shooting right down the center of it, I'll be quite honest. There's a bit of landfall on the other end, which gives it a bit of feature. In fairness, I'm not sure I even want to do a longer exposure. Those clouds just aren't moving enough. But I might get away with a 4-minute one here, so we'll give that a go. Right, well, I took the low down shot. Got to admit, I'm not overly enamored. The sky's gone this wishy-washy kind of blurry nothing. Not moving well either. So I think we're going to head off down to where those mud flats were over there, and we're going to see if we can get some detail shots. And I'll don the wellies and get out there. Such a shame. I was looking forward to this one. I really did want a nice dynamic shot, including some nice sky and some cracking foreground interest. Cracking, get it? Yeah. Right, enough of that. I'll move on. Right, let's get down there. Right, so firstly, whilst I'm at this higher perspective, as I walk along the wall here, I'm going to see if I can spot some nice, what are they called? Cutouts? I don't know. Some nice patterns where the water has cut through the mud. So just a little meander as I go along and see what I can find. And then, once I've found that shot, if I do, time to get those wellies on, man. Get down there. Right, so the first shot's in the bag. Surprisingly, really struggling to pick something out. Probably need to get down there and do something a little bit more dynamic. But this one, I think, is a little bit apt, because to me, and you might think I'm a bit cuckoo, because it looks like a bird. Yeah. Now, I've had to focus stack this because I'm right out at 200mm, even shooting at f14, I think I was. Ooh. f13, even shooting at f13, I've had to focus stack this. And I've also had to put on my image stabilization, even on the tripod, because the wind's catching the lens, yeah, and made it blurry. First attempt was blurry. So, shot one in the bag. Let's see if I can actually get some more. Right, so we're coming down onto the mud flats, and it's boggy on the first bit, very, very boggy. Hopefully, it does look a bit wet, but hopefully it's quite supportive when you walk on the cracks. So what I'm after now, I want a couple of interesting patterns in the mud where it's cracked. Doesn't sound exciting, does it? But there are some contrasting colour. There's some green bits and there's some brown bits and there's some lighter brown bits. Yeah. But I'd also like to get down and low and take a kind of look out to the horizon over one of these puddles with some dynamic foreground of the cracks. That's what I want. And it's not what I really want. What I really want is the same thing, but down there with that jetty. Never mind, we work with what we've got. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We work with what we've got. Well, what can I say about this apart from we are putting abstraction to the test today? Well, pretty much the only thing that attracted me to this was the fact that it's green and it's brown, and the shape of the cracks, you know, the patination, it's kind of appealing. It's like crackle glaze in a way, and looking at the edges of what's going on and having a main structure in the centre was what I was aiming for. Not saying this is good, but I think it's different. Can't go with that. Different. Well, the sun started to come out. I didn't really want that, I'll be honest. It's going to give me too much glare in the water, so I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to try and find a shot where I can get a dynamic foreground leading through one of these puddles. That's about the only thing I might do. It might give me a bit more clarity now looking through them if there is anything interesting in them. But it's not. It's pretty much just danky, muddy puddles. Right, let's have a go at that then. Right, so the last shot of the day. Pocket's going flat, I've got 8%, so I better do this quick. So this is the last one. I've got this puddle in front of me, I've got some cracking in front of me, there's one tiny little green shoot there and a shell, and some green in the muddy puddle, and it kind of snakes its way out to where that sun is breaking through. I can't quite get enough width on this to be able to get the sun in as well, because there's a little bit of sun ray, and yeah, I think that's me done. So thank you guys for watching. It's been different, didn't get the shots I want. Not really overly confident on these shots, to be honest, but I think I might be able to pull something out of this one. Yeah, one of those sort of days. We all have them. So I'll see you guys in the next one before I fall over.